Today's video is about 3 steps to transform pain into personal power. And I am interested in specifically talking to those people who really want to do the healing that they need to do on their end so they can shine a brighter light into this world. Let's get into what we're talking about today. So these 3 steps to transform pain into personal power, when I began to think about 3 important things that I had done, there's a lot of steps, there's a lot of steps, and each step has a lot of steps. But when I think about really important actions that I took in order to transform pain into personal power, the very first step, are you ready? The very first step is making a decision. Making a decision that you are going to use an alchemical process. Everything I do is about alchemy. It's about changing things from one thing to another. So making a decision. How can I take the pain that I've endured in my life and turn it into fuel? And of course, the fuel becomes personal power. That was the very first thing I did. I was tired of living in my pain. I was tired of going the traditional route of trying to get through it. I was tired of people promising. No, I can't say that I was tired of people promising. I didn't have people promising me anything. Mostly, I just felt misunderstood. After spending 30 years in traditional counseling, all I knew was, why can't I get past this? Why can't I just get past this? And all I knew to do in those days was to just kind of go from one counselor to another, and then the medication route and all of the things. And once I began to make a decision that I was going to do something different, I began looking into alternatives. I began looking into holistic healing modalities, practitioners, education, different things like that. So the very first step, the number one step, is making a decision that that's what you want to do, that you come to believe that there is a reason, a purpose for all of the pain that you've endured. For me, it was a necessary decision for me to survive. It was important for me to determine that what I had been through was actually for something bigger. And once I made that decision, it made everything else, I don't want to say easy, because it's damn sure never been easy. However, it made it meaningful. It allowed me to take myself to a higher level than I had ever been before. So step number 1 is making the decision. Step number 2 is perspective. When you can only view your pain in one way, it makes it really difficult to rise above it. So when you begin to, instead of looking at what has happened to you, you begin to see it as what has happened for you. So an example I have, I worked with a client one time who had gone through sexual abuse, and she said to me, "How can you tell me that your sexual abuse was a good thing?" I said, "Oh no, I can't tell you it was a good thing, but what I can tell you is what it's done for me. Because of the experience I went through, it allowed me to sit in front of you today and hold space for you today. It allowed me to have compassion for you today that I might not have had before. It allowed me to have an understanding about what you're going through, what you've been through, that I might not have had otherwise." So that's what I'm saying, perspective. It's not about the things that you've gone through being unimportant. They're hugely important. It's about flipping the script on the particular incident or multiple incidences, like in my life, and saying, how can I use this to fuel me? How can I change my perspective on the way that I see this? So everything that happens in my life, I look at it and I say, I wonder what this is trying to show me. I wonder what this is bringing me. I wonder what this is trying to teach me. And from each incident that is really incredibly painful in my human experience, I am able to shift my perspective and see what it is that I'm going to gain, to learn, to open up within myself because of the experience. The very last step, the third step in transforming pain to personal power, is your habits. When you begin to look at your habits, whatever they might be, are they in service of you? Is this a habit that you are doing that is making things improve or stay the same for you? I'll give you some examples. I went through a period of time where I completely disconnected from TV altogether. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have access to a TV, didn't watch TV at all. What that did for me was that habit of, changing one habit to another allowed me to clear some space in my mind, allowed me to connect with inner guidance. It allowed me to view the world from a very different place. Now I've slipped back into the habit of watching Netflix and things like that because I've had a lot of things going on in my life and it has become an escape. So I'm recognizing that it's time for me to shift my habit again. Is this a habit? Excuse me. Is this a habit that's in service of me? Or is this creating more pain for me? Am I escaping from my feelings? Like, what's happening there? I hope you get the idea. Habits can be looking at, maybe your habit is snacking. Maybe your habit is gossiping. Maybe your habit is feeling like you're not enough, these thought patterns. Take a look at what you're going through in your life. What habits are you doing on a daily basis? And are they getting you closer to the impact that you want to make, or are they taking you away from that? It's really, really important when we become self-aware is to really start to discover things about ourselves, maybe things that are uncomfortable, maybe things that we don't really want to share with other people, but we know what we're doing that's in service of us or not in service of us. And, in the spiritual community, there's a lot of talk sometimes about what is spiritual, what is not spiritual. And I've got an idea for an upcoming podcast on that. But really, this is about you getting in touch with you becoming authentic to you, and considering what habits are actually a benefit to you and what habits are destructive to you. There was a period of time where I read the poem Desiderata every morning without fail, no matter what, no matter how I felt. I sat and did a 1-minute meditation, and then I read the Desiderata out loud to myself. And what happened when I created that habit over time, I started to shift how I felt on the inside just by adding this one tiny little habit to my day. So sometimes habits are about adding, something good to your day. Sometimes habits are about taking something away. Now, again, if let's say TV, back again using that, and this is just an example, you can apply it to anything. Maybe you don't watch TV, awesome. But let's say that you are watching TV for however much during a day, and maybe you don't stop it altogether. Maybe you just cut it down a bit. Maybe you just make that shift, make that change. So those are my top three ways, top three steps to transform pain into personal power. So I'd like to know what you think about this. Do you think those are important steps? Are you working with those steps? How is that coming? And let me tell you, you're not immune to falling back into habits, perspectives, and decisions that aren't good for you. I've done it many times. And as soon as I recognize it, I say, okay. And sometimes I'm not ready to make the shift again because, we've got to get ready to make the shift. And sometimes you got to get ready to get ready, you know? So let me know what you think. And I'm excited for the changes that are coming on the channel. With some personal things coming up, I may not be able to do my regular solo videos twice a week. I'm going to keep up as much as possible. The Holistic Pathway podcast, it's currently on the channel, uploads every Saturday. The last episode for 2024 will be November 16th, and I will restart again in 2025. So thank you so much for watching. This is Tammy Coyne, your holistic alchemist, helping you transform pain into power and truth into freedom. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.